Good day, this is Teacher Rowan. I'll be your guide in exploring Google Apps for education, for teaching and learning. In Google for Education, teachers can connect and collaborate easily while staying on task. It gives teachers the freedom to spend more time personalizing the learning experience and less time managing it. Students can learn essential skills such as 21st century problem solving, which they can use it in their future careers. As such, the accessibility features will also help and assist every learner to do their best work. Google offers different useful applications that we can use to connect education to technology. This will help our teachers as a 21st century educators to innovate and find ways on how to make teaching and learning more exciting, engaging, effective, and flexible to the demands of the society. Let's re-explore the education experience by discovering new angles to create, collaborate, and communicate as one. Para sa bata, para sa bayan, at para sa guro. Ang pagkatuto, huwag gawing komplikado. Sulong edukalidad.
Magandang araw, Sir Wilbur po, at your service. Narito ang ETUlay upang gabayan ka sa inyong pag-aaral upang lubos na maunawaan ang iba't ibang paksa o subject. Ang ETUlay ay isang free online tutorial class na pinangungunahan ng ICT's Educational Technology Unit sa pamumuno ni Undersecretary Elaine Del B. Pascua. Ang programang ito ay hindi lamang para sa mga bata, kundi ito rin ay magsisilbing gabay sa mga magulang at mga guro kung paano nila ituturo o gagabayan sa bawat asignatura ang kanilang mga anak o mga estudyante. Sa kasalukuyan, ang self-learning module mula sa rehiyon ng Calabarzon at kilala sa tawag na pivot ang ginagamit sa ating ETUlay online class. Kaya ano pang hinihintay ninyo? Ihanda na ang inyong mga ballpen o lapis, papel o kwaderno at samahan kaming itulay ang pagkatuto para sa bawat batang Pilipino. Sama-sama tayong magtutulungan para malampasan ang mga hamon sa panahong ito. Halina't matuto kasama ang inyong online tutor sa oras na ito.
Hi everyone. I'm not sure if you can hear me right now. Yeah. Okay, hi everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you for coming to this call today. And the session purposes for 4 p.m. down until 4:40 p.m. We are using this is the Student Nova 15 and we're kind of experiencing a little bit of technical as right now in my area it's really hard. That's why the internet connection was also interrupted. So using this implement phone today to help also with we also to talk about tutor match or the other match today we will incorporate our PowerPoint presentation. So I'd like to greet everyone.
Hello, Ma'am Nova. Ma'am Nova. Hello. Ma'am Nova, Teacher Nova. Tutor Nova, I suggest that you can turn off the camera so that we can preserve the bandwidth because right now we cannot hear you clearly. So, right. So while we're waiting for Tutor Nova fixing her headphones or her audio, since as we consider that it's really happening and we need to recognize that because of the rain, possibly that it affects the connection, the internet connection, especially if you are using a broadband. And we hope that we can ask again Tutor Nova to join us. So again, Tutor Nova, hello. By, ayan, so as you can see, ayan, ikot lang ng ikot. So laban lang, Tutor Nova. And I know that our senior high school learners today are excited to meet you. And we welcome our class for EAPP or for English for academic purposes. For professional purposes. I think kulang ng isa pang P. EAPP is English for academic for professional purposes. English for academic and professional purposes. Hello, Ma'am Nova. Now it's English for academic purposes. It's for DepEd. English for academic and professional purposes. Hello, Ma'am Nova. Still there? Yes, laban lang. Hello, Sir Jmar Olivar. Good afternoon po. Ayan, ako muna ang sasamahan nyo. Hi, Jenny Benban. Good afternoon sa'yo. Thank you sa iyong heart. And so, Rhea. Ang tagal daw ni Rhea. Sabi ni Anjo. And si Jenny Benban watching from Kapingkong Central Elementary School, Sultan Kudarat Division. Wow, Jenny. Tayo ay nasa senior high school na, ha? So, but still, thank you for tuning in for our English for academic and professional purposes. Hi, Ma'am Merle Katang. Good afternoon sa'yo. Sige, while we're waiting for Tutor Nova, since nga may problem tayo sa internet connection, let us browse her PowerPoint presentation or her presentation for the week. So actually, we're now in our week 3. So maybe this is in relation to her topic for week 2. Defends a stand on an issue by presenting reasonable arguments. So we need to write for an issue, or to defend about something that you believe is truth or a fact or something na yun nga, no? You know that it is true. Sige. So you need to defend a stand by, of course, you need to give supporting statements or supporting documents to be presented, to justify or to napa-English tuloy si Tutor Match. Kumbaga to not just to justify but to strengthen your idea. Meron pa akong word na nasa dulo ng aking dila. So let me let me read first Sir Joel Kudiamat. Good afternoon po. Pa-shoutout po kami dito sa Flora National High School, Division of Apayao. Good afternoon, Sir Joel. Ayan, so inantay natin si Tutor Nova na mag-take charge for EAPP. But, sige, kapit lang tayo. So, let's see. Based on this image, siguro ang gustong sabihin ni Tutor Nova dito, where do you think would you want to go, or anong road ang iyong tatahakin? Is it 1 or 2? So based on the image presented ni Tutor Nova, ano ang iyong pupuntahang road? Road 1 or road 2? So definitely, if you are to judge or to choose between the two, hindi mo nakikita yung end, di ba? So in every decision that we are doing, so we plan and we Sometimes in every project, we begin with the end in mind, but based on the picture, we don't have the end in mind, or we cannot see the end of this road. So, hello, Tutor Nova. Hi. Hello, Tutor Nova. Hello. Hindi, no, hindi pa po kita marinig, Tutor Nova. So, you can use your phone po, and then speaker phone. Pwede na po sa speaker phone na lang, kahit hindi po kayo mag-headset, kahit sa phone lang po siya. Tapos, maririnig na po namin kayo. Alright, so, as mentioned, andito tayo ngayon sa ating picture. We need to justify, we need to defend, we need to have proof, no? Ano ba yung kailangan natin na mga factors to consider para tayo ay mag-decide, no? Kung anong road ang ating pipiliin. The first one or the second one? Sige, let's continue. Mahirap, no? Lalo kasi nga sabi ko, hindi mo makita kung ano yung dulo. Tapos, pag yan ang anuhin mo, sa kaliwa, sa kanan. To the right, to the right, to the left, to the left. So, ano kayang pipiliin ng ating mga online participants? Oh, alright. So, medyo may problem talaga sa internet connection si Tutor Nova. So, sa ating mga online participants today, can you thumbs up kung ako ay inyong naririnig ng malinaw or loud and clear ba ang ating session today? Or sa inyo rin po ay meron ding technical issues or problems. So, huwag mag-alala dahil ang ating ETUlay session ay recorded at pwede po ninyong balikan. Alright, so let's continue. Why did you decide to take that way instead of the other? Ayan, so may question si Tutor Nova. Why did you decide to take that way instead of the other? Yung one or two. So ako nga, kung ako yung papipiliin, most of the time siya sinasabi nila, doon ka sa right. So kung wala nang talagang choice, no, kailangan mo talagang mamili. So doon daw sa right. Alright, to the right. Yung iba naman, based on instinct. Right? Normally, personal instinct, no? Human instinct. Ayan. So ano yung pipili mo pag nakita mo, eto na ako. Parang eto na yung ano ko. Yun yung ano natin. Kumbaga, yan. Sabi ni Jaymar, I think because of the typhoon, internet connection in Visayas is affected. Correct, Sir Jaymar. Thank you for for additional information with why is it that Tutor Nova is having hard time para mag-connect. Meron nga may typhoon and may internet connection problem talaga. So, it's okay, Tutor Nova. Nasa likod lang ako. Back up. Okay, wait lang. Nagde-direct din kasi ako sa kabila, sa English 5, si Tutor Wax. Patapos na rin ata siya. Ayan, so naka-mute lang siya kasi baka maririnig ninyo. Alright, so next na natin yung slide. So there's here may tayong i-reveal na word. So this is an attempt to persuade someone of something. This is an attempt to persuade someone of something. Okay? Ano kaya ang word na hinahanap? What do you think is the word that we're looking for? Can you type sa ating comment box? Ano kaya yung word na hinahanap? Right, so the word is argument. So in an argument, so you need to, parang ano niya sa magkakapatid, pag kayo ay nag-uusap, no? meron kayong argument, meron kayong pinag-uusapan, pinagtatalunan. No? Alright, so that is something that you need to, that skill is something that you need to learn, especially in senior high school, especially if you are in a situation wherein you need to justify something, you need to address something. Yes, yeah. So now I have another English teacher, yeah, better, no, from an English teacher to discuss about the topic for this afternoon, which is related nga, no, lalo na, sigurado ako may mga nagpresenta to si ma'am, nakapag-defense na. Ayan. So speaking of defense, yan yon. Isa sa skill na dapat yung matutuhan. Alright, let's welcome Tutor May. Isa rin sa ating Edtech specialist and director sa ETUlay. Hello, ma'am.
Hi, Sir Madge.
Good afternoon. Medyo
Hello po. Good afternoon.
Sige.
Okay po.
I will
Sige,
be
sir.
presenting the slide. Let me know if
Yes.
it's the next slide. All right, sige. The topic
Okay.
is about, balikan ko sa umpisa, defending a stand on an issue. All right, thank you, ma'am.
Okay po. Thank you, sir. Okay. So, once again, our topic will be about defense a stand on a week, or this is learning competency for this week. Defense a stand on an issue by presenting reasonable arguments. Before I start, let me present myself again. I am Tutor May, and I am one of your English teachers for ETUlay. Actually, I am teaching English 3, but I'm actually a high school teacher. I am teaching grade 7. Okay. So back to the previous slide that was shown to you a while ago. Arguments are really important when we want to have a clear idea. I mean, when we have an idea, it is not enough that we will not support it by another idea. That means our idea will be much stronger if we will have an argument. Next slide, please. Okay, so let me define what is a reasonable argument. Okay, so first, it's debatable. When we say debatable, other people other people can say can agree to it or can disagree to it. If we have or if we want to make a reasonable argument, we will not establish or we will not use biblical quotes or facts from the Bible, because if we are to say or if we are to mention these things in the Bible, the argument will never be debatable anymore, because according to morality, that's always right. Second, at least it would have two viewpoints. Like what I said po, di ba, a while ago, it's debatable because you can either agree or disagree to it. Next, it fosters reasonable disagreement. So if someone would disagree to your argument, at least he can also present other ideas so that his viewpoint, his disagreement will be stronger. So, like what I said a while ago, our ideas will be much stronger if we will connect an argument to it. Okay, next slide. Okay? With your argument, you join in a conversation with other writers and readers in the field. So when we are trying to express our argument, we are trying to say our viewpoint. We're trying to also express our disapproval or agreement towards a certain issue. And it's not just so you might say that you are just telling it for the sake of expression. No, you are telling your argument because you want to join the academic community, a community that thinks, a community that analyzes issues. Second, when you try to express your argument, you want to explain your point without needlessly being combative. So, na alam ko, by your grade level, you are now adept in using social media. Okay? So, maraming issues na ang nasa social media, and they, yes, they are highly debatable, pero when we are presenting our arguments, there's no need to be combative, yung makikipag-away kayo. Iba kasi dyan ay kipag-away pa, di ba? So yes, other people will disagree to your opinion, pero you can disagree without the need to fight or without the need to be combative. Aawayin mo yung kausap mo. Meron pa dyan, pag nagde-disagree, they would be very personal. So what do I mean by very personal? No, they attack the person rather than the argument. So if example, there's a person whose argument you do not agree with, you attack the argument, you attack the idea, you attack the opinion, but never the person who's saying the opinion. Okay? So when you're presenting your argument, your goal is to convince readers to reconsider their positions. 'Di ba? So you're saying your opinion because you believe that it can help your community. You're presenting your argument because it helps people to think of a better way. You're presenting your argument because it might clarify other things that are not clear to other people. So to convince readers to reconsider their positions by offering new reasons to question existing viewpoints. Okay, so um, we're not aside from our right to expression, we have to also be very smart with the way we express our arguments, 'di ba? Kasi when we have different backgrounds, we have different experiences. So it's really normal for us to have different arguments, different opinions, and different viewpoints. But what I stressed a while ago, we do not have to be combative. And when we want to disagree with another person's argument, we will not attack the person. We should attack the quality of the idea or the quality of the argument that person has expressed. And when we are telling our argument, or when we are expressing our argument, we want to contribute to a community who is thinking, who is at or a community that is thinking, that is analyzing the facts and details that are happening in our present time. Okay, so when we are to do our argument, there are four pillars that we should observe. First, the thesis or the main idea. Second, the evidence. Third, refutation. And fourth, concluding statement. Okay, so let's discuss each pillar one by one. Okay, next slide, please. See, okay, when we have a thesis statement, our thesis statement embodies or it has the main idea of our argument. So when we have a thesis statement, we want to establish credibility and we want to state our opinion clearly. So with our thesis, we have to state our position on the issue, whether you say right or wrong. So mas maganda dito kung meron tayong example, no, and then we will make an argument exposing or exhibiting these four pillars. Example, what's a trendy issue right now? Okay, so example, with regard to the power interruption. Okay? So, there are officials, meron ka mga officials na they could have, meron mga officials na as early as now, nangangampanya. 'Di ba? And they should have been addressing the issue with our electricity now and not join the early campaigns by the government. So you can you with that issue, first you must state your opinion whether you disagree, you disagree or agree with it. Second, establish credibility. How would you establish credibility? By citing other resources. Okay, so when you want to establish your credibility, you want to also build it through knowledge and through being fair. So how would you establish it? By citing resources, diba? By example, if you want to target that issue, if you want to state an argument with with the politicians or government officials not really minding the current issue in our electricity right now, cite newspapers, cite news articles, cite websites that are also talking about this issue. Third, build common ground. So, how would your listeners relate to the scenario you're trying to have an argument to? So, because right now everybody can feel how humid the weather is, right? And we are all affected if the electricity will be disrupted, because almost all of us are either studying online, working online, or working from home. So build common ground, how your listeners can relate to the opinion or to the topic you would want to make your argument with. Okay, next slide. Next slide po. Okay, so I think there's another slide. An argumentative thesis statement. So what should be an argumentative thesis statement? First, it must be it must be composed with one or two sentences that state your position on the issue. It could be one sentence if you think it has fully embodied your opinion, or you can add another sentence to make it more relatable, to make it stronger. Second, it must have a firm stand, meaning when someone hears or someone reads your thesis, he or she can find out immediately whether you agree or disagree to the topic you're trying to make an argument to. Next, it must be debatable. Like what I said, it should not claim, or it should not use facts from the Bible, because that's not debatable anymore. Or you should not cite anything that can be proven by science, because if it can be proven by science, it's not debatable anymore. Next. Okay, let's have the next slide. Okay, so this is an example of a thesis statement that is too aggressive. Of course, only registered organ donors should be eligible for organ transplants. It's selfish and short-sighted to think otherwise. So you see, um, even though even though we are presenting a good argument, the way we put our words, it can sound very aggressive, that will definitely tune out your listeners or your readers. We, di ba sabi nga kanina, it should be firm, yes, but it should not be too aggressive as if you're fighting your listeners or your readers. Next, have the next slide. Okay, so like what I said, avoid using language that risks alienating your readers, because um our diction or our choice of words, we must be careful with our diction or choice of words, because our readers and our listeners have their own background, have their own knowledge, have their own experiences, and if we sound very aggressive, if we sound combative in the way we put our words, we might alienate our readers. So this is an example of a thesis statement that is too passive. Okay, I might be wrong, but I think that maybe people should have to register as organ donors if they want to be considered for a transplant. You see, there's if not ambivalence, you see the voice or the tone of the writer, or of the one uh or of the one telling this statement. It's either he is not sure of what he's saying, because he said I might be wrong, so he or she is not firm of his opinion. I might be wrong, but I think, you see, but I think we should be firm, and we should be wise. We should be sure of the things that we are saying if we are trying to convince our readers or our listeners. Next. Okay, so avoid the phrases I might be wrong because it sounds you're not sure. I believe because other people other people might not believe so, or in my opinion because other people have their opinions too. So a point here is we must be very careful with our choice of words or our diction. Next. So we have to establish our credibility and our authority when we are saying things. So this thesis statement is effectively assertive. If only registered organ donors are eligible for transplants, more people will register as donors. So you see, you have your condition, and then the tone of the writer or the one telling it is very sure, very authoritative, credible, if I would say it. And you see, his point or his argument is highly debatable. You can say yes or no to it. Next slide. Mm-hmm. Next slide po. Okay. So thesis. What is a thesis statement for each article and how effective is it? Would you characterize the thesis as passive, assertive or aggressive, and why? So I think here we will have two articles, and um we will analyze how the articles are done, whether they appear to be passive, not sure, not so firm with one's opinion, assertive, very assertive, the one we're trying, the tone we're trying to establish, and aggressive, very combative. Kumbaga, passive will be on the other end, on the other end, the negative end, and then aggressive will be on the other end. And then yung nasa gitna, the one we're trying to establish, the one we're trying to be is to be assertive with our um, thesis. Okay, so let's show the article. Ooh. So I think may ibibigay dapat si teacher sa inyong mga article dito, no? Kasi after that slide, we cannot see any articles here. Pero balik tayo dun sa after your thesis, there should be supporting evidence. Okay? So remember your readers as your panel of jurors. So ibig sabihin nun, they judge how well you create your thesis statement. They judge how well you do your ideas. And they also judge how you neat and how you combine your ideas all together. And why we should use supporting evidence? Because they establish proof, they make your argument more solid, and it also makes your idea well phrased. Okay, I mean your opinion, because it's supported by different resources, diba? We have two kinds of resources. We have the uh, first, and we have the primary and secondary resources. So it would be better if we have an argument supported by these kinds of resources. One that is primary and one that is secondary. But if we have a thesis, we should be supporting it with evidences. Third, let's have the next one. Okay, so when you're making your argument, you should know your topic well. Cannot um you cannot give what you don't have. That's why you cannot also talk about something that you don't know very well. So what are the strategies for you to be knowledgeable, to know the thing that you're going to talk about? First, you have to conduct research. It's important for you to read. It's important for you to gather resources, to gather information relevant to your topic. Second, consider all sides. We don't want to be bigot. We don't want to be partisans. So dapat when we are to have an argument on a certain topic, kailangan we also read articles resources that are agreeing on that point and disagreeing on that point, diba? If we will if you have watched documentaries and news also, they're trying to weigh the topic. They're trying to weigh the news. Hindi lang sila for those who agree to it, hindi lang sila for those who disagree to it. We must also be good judge of knowledge. We should not be partisan or bigots. We should consider all sides. Next, be well informed. So ibig sabihin, even though you have conducted your research, you should also follow up on your reading. So dapat hindi ka lang nagbabasa nung kung anong ni-research mo. Dapat you also follow the site or follow people or continue reading your research on the topic you would want to address or make an argument in. Okay, next po. Okay, so how would you make a good evidence? First, an evidence should have facts and statistics. Okay, a shortened term for statistics is the word stats. So gamit tayo ng mga websites, articles, research, no, that would spill facts or that would provide facts so that we can have a stronger argument. Statistics, 60% of Filipinos, 1 out of 5 Filipinos, di ba? 2 out of 10 households. Because why do you have to put numbers? Diba? Syempre, we know that we should be reading articles and research, websites, books about the topic we would like to address. But I think, in my own opinion, when I hear a certain argument, it's more powerful when there are numbers. 1 out of 5, 2 out of 10, 8 out of 10 people, because you are helping your readers or your listeners to picture out how grave a situation is, how other people are affected by the issue you're trying to address. Second, expert opinion. So also cite people who have their own and who have established their credibility. Example, if you're trying to address an issue about literature, why not cite the ideas and opinions of F. Shunil Jose? Okay, if you are having an argument about economy, why not mention um Warren Buffett, okay? Or if you have a topic in history, why not mention out Ambeth Ocampo? So mention people who have expert opinion or who are considered expert on the field or on that area of study where your topic is in or your topic belongs to. Third, accurate documentation. So when you are to collect your facts, to collect your materials, always make sure that these resources are done accurately. So tama, no? Hindi siya yung research na may false claims on a certain issue because you want to establish your authority and then your credibility. Why would you use resources? Why would you use sites, write-ups, articles that are not done accurately, that have false claims on something, whose research is not also carefully done. So you must be also considerate or you must also be wise on the kind of material that you will be using as your evidence. Next slide po. Okay, so example, if you want to disagree, if your thesis is to disagree on a certain issue, you should have you should have a counter opposing argument. Okay, so ibig sabihin, your argument should be clear on its stance that it disapproves, that it does not agree on a certain argument that you're trying to target. Next, your thesis statement should anticipate objections. Ibig sabihin, as you are disagreeing on a certain issue, you should also think of how your listeners, how your readers will oppose your ideas. And third, concede points. Okay, so how would you concede points? Definitely, you will think about a spot. You're trying, when we say concede points, the easier way to say it is you have to compromise. Both of you the first argument that you're trying to disagree, I mean, you are disagreeing on a certain point. Because you disagree on that, you can think of a spot where you can both have a compromise. Definitely, if you are a definitely, or for some points, um you just disagree on one thing, but there are other matters, there are other points that you can somehow accept. So you will try to highlight those things that you can concede with, that you can establish a compromise. Okay, example, you don't really agree on this point, but we can agree on this issue. So I remember this issue about prostitution, that we should legalize prostitution. For what matter? We should legalize prostitution because it can boost our economy through the taxes that will be given to the prostitutes. Okay? So one of the debaters disagree on that. Uh we should not legalize prostitution, but we can make laws that will protect women when they are having their sexual activity, or when they are involved in that kind of business. So hindi nag-a-agree sa prostitution, to legalize prostitution, pero nag-a-agree ka to protect women if they are trying to copulate, or if they're trying to do that activity. So, pwedeng ganon. Kasi hindi naman fully nagdi-disagree ka. Next, okay? So, if you're trying to refute opposing viewpoints, and if you are successful in expressing how you are disagreeing, it shows that you are a good academic researcher, because you do not just say yes immediately. And second, it shows that you are a good academic writer, because you can well you can express well your ideas, the points that you try to the points that you are disagreeing to, and the points where you can concede with. All right, next slide po. Okay, so always remember to avoid logical fallacy. Like what I told you, no, we never attack the person, but we attack the quality and the kind of the idea that person is trying to say. So how can we avoid logical fallacy? Let's find out. Okay, next slide, please. So, these are examples of logical fallacies. The first one is faulty cause and effect. Assumes that one event causes the second, and ignores other possible causes. Okay, example, I drank bottled water and now I am sick. So the water must have made me sick. But we know, di ba, it's a false cause kasi baka hindi naman talaga dahil sa ininom ng tubig. Baka meron pa siyang nakain. Okay? So second is non sequitur, or it does not follow. It describes a conclusion that does not logically follow a premise. Example, diamonds that come from Africa are often retrieved under dire circumstances in poor working conditions. Therefore, one should never buy diamonds. Definitely, this is not only the process where we can get diamonds, and diamonds are not only harvested in Africa. So it's not really that correct for one to stop the economy of diamonds. Second po, next slide. Okay? So, we can avoid logical fallacies in our own writing by being aware of these fallacies. So, what I said or what I told you kanina, these are some of the examples of logical fallacies. Marami pang logical fallacies. Example, the straw man, and the the straw man is a good example of a logical fallacy. So we should be um we should analyze, we should also be well read, and we should know these logical fallacies so we can avoid them whenever we are trying to make our arguments, whether in writing or in speaking. Next po. Okay, so people believe that intelligence and decency support their side of an argument. Okay, so meron tayong, di ba, meron tayong, when we want to speak about something, we want to establish our intelligence and also our decency, because if our speakers and our readers know that we are intelligent, or we know the thing that we are saying, we they will listen, they will heed to what we are saying. And if we are decent enough to show how well we know things or the things that we are saying, that's also a factor for us to, for our listeners, for our readers to stay tuned and really tune in to what we are saying, or to what we are reading, to what we are writing. To be persuaded, always remember, your readers, your listeners must see the quality, the kind of argument you're trying to give. So that's why we must research. We must also we must also be updated, and we must be wary. We must be careful on the kind of resources that we're trying to use as evidences in our argument. We must also avoid logical fallacies, because always it's based on the quality of our argument that will attract our listener, our readers. Next po. Okay? So I think that's the last slide. Okay? So wag po nating kakalimutan na laging tumutok sa ating tutor for today, si Teacher Nova. So medyo nagkaroon lang ng technical difficulty, pero I know hahabol si teacher next week, no? Syempre, kapag teacher, we don't want to skip a class, especially pag alam namin na lagi namang may tumututok at may nag-aabang sa aming mga lesson. Okay? So, malakas ang ulan sa kanila. O, kaya po pala nagkakaroon ng technical issue sa side ni ma'am, kasi malakas daw po ang ulan sa kanila at may bagyo. So, mag-iingat po, ma'am. Ma'am Nova, lagi po kayo mag-iingat dyan sa inyong lugar. Okay po. So, I hope kahit na paano po, no, I helped discuss the lesson today. And next week po, magkikita-kita pa kayo ni Ma'am Nova. So, bye-bye po.
Sigurado ako na marami ka na namang natutuhan sa ating ETUlay tutorial session ngayong araw. Tandaan, ito ay hindi lamang para sa ating mga mag-aaral, kundi pati rin sa ating mga minamahal na guro at mga magulang na kaagapay natin para maituloy ang pagkatuto sa kabila ng nararanasang pandemya. Patuloy ding sumubaybay sa DepEd TV para sa mga araling ginawang video episodes. Mapapanood ito mula Lunes hanggang Sabado, alas 7 ng umaga hanggang alas 7 ng gabi sa inyong mga telebisyon. Abangan bukas mula 1:00 ng tanghali ang iba pang aralin sa ating ETUlay free online tutorial session sa Filipino. I-like and subscribe at manatiling nakasubaybay sa ating ETUlay tutorial session sa DepEd Edtech Unit FB page at Educational Technology Unit channel sa YouTube at sa DepEd Tayo at DepEd Philippines social media accounts. Paalam!